Let's shift focus now to debate number 2 as the Congress party pushes through its welfare guarantees in Karnataka. After that stellar victory, it's now facing flack over some of the conditions surrounding some of these guarantees for the common man to avail them. While the BJP is hit out at the Congress for not highlighting these conditions, T and C apply, as they say. Now voices from within the party are also questioning. Senior Congress leader Shiv Shankarappa has questioned the free bus service scheme as the Siddaramaiah government has now made an identity card mandatory for women to avail this free bus service. While criticizing this condition, he also said that women from other states should be allowed to get the benefit of this Shakti scheme. The BJP has once again attacked the Congress and it's standing divided over the rollout of guarantees. But the big question remains, is the Congress guilty of misleading the public in the run-up to the election? Or are they realizing the cost of fulfilling this is far too much? That's why some of these riders have been inserted.
ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಗಳು ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ.
We have been saying that Karnataka Congress is split into three parties. This kind of guarantees are only temporary.
We are confident that the people will respect us. They have respected the verdict.
ये गरीब लोगों को अच्छा है क्योंकि गरीब लोग अचानक पैसा नहीं रहा तो फ्री कहाँ भी जा सकते हैं.
अब जरा आराम से होता है, 50 रुपए बचता है हमें.
All right, let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Dr. Naren Rangappa is spokesperson of the BJP, Sanket Yenagi, spokesperson of the KPCC, Prakash Belawadi, who will also be joining us, political analyst and former journalist. Sanket, let me start with you first. You know, every one of these 5 guarantees which you had promised to the people of Karnataka in the run-up to the elections, you have now imposed TNC, which is terms and conditions apply. Whether it is for women, there has to be separate identity cards, you have to create some kind of a bus pass. For free electricity, it is only up to 200 units, and then there is this average 10% more than the average of the last 3 years, so on and so forth. So for every one of these guarantees, why are you now, after coming into power, applying these terms and conditions? You should have said this while you were making those promises as well.
The intention of the terms and conditions is to see that the scheme or the policy of the government should reach the eligible, and it should not be misused by anyone, number one. And number two, we should also have the accountability of the person or the passenger or the one who want to use the scheme. So for which reason it is necessary always to have the accountability, the assessment of the performance, and also to see that the misuse should not take place. That is our duty, for which reason the terms and conditions have been imposed.
But sir, please tell me, no sir, please tell me, one second, Sanket, please tell me, you went ahead and said free bus ride to all women, right? Now a woman enters a bus, how can it be misused? What do you mean by misuse? Either the woman is getting free bus ride or no, because men are not getting free bus ride. So how can it be misused? Are you saying that men will start coming in disguise as women on buses?
No.
What is the scope of misuse?
The scheme is provided for the people or the women of Karnataka. Those who are not the residents of Karnataka, who are not the persons who are settled in Karnataka, will not be able to use this scheme. So there are chances of the people or the women from other states using this scheme in the guise of being women. So that should not be allowed, or that should not be again causing any loss to the exchequer in the guise of welfare scheme
again,
to the state.
I'm not sure how this will work on the ground. If there's a migrant labor who's been working in Bangalore for like 5 years or 10 years, is that person an outsider or an insider? I mean, how are you going to make these distinctions? You said all women will get a free bus ride. Now, either you implement that promise or you don't. Anyway, let me ask Dr. Rangappa. not just the bus ride. When it comes to electricity, first it was said 200 units, everyone will get 200 units free. Now then they said even if you use 1 unit more than 200, then you have to pay for the whole 200. And also now this condition that you will only get 10% more than the average of the last 3 years.
So these schemes or freebies, what I would like to call they have given, is reckless, indiscriminate, irresponsible, and without any accountability. When they were making their manifesto and when they were planning the guarantees, Mr. Siddaramaiah, who has presented 13 budgets, did he not have any idea then what he has to give as terms and conditions? Did he not know that this can be misutilized? Did he not know that it can be misused? This is total farce. This is cheating, hoodwinking, and taking the people of Karnataka for a ride. And they have been exposed very badly.
But
and
why were you not able to convince the people of Karnataka during the campaign? Congress got 135 seats.
We were convincing them. And now they will be better convinced. And in the forthcoming elections, just look at the plight of what Congress will face. The ire of people, the people who have suffered, and the people who are getting double their electricity bill and trying to digest these lies of freebies with the terms and conditions, 2,000 rupees for a lady of the house. And then they come and say, if you are paying income tax, or if your husband is paying income tax, or if your brother is paying income tax, we'll not give you money. And we are giving 3,000 rupees to the unemployed. Did you mention that people who are passed between 23 and 22 will get 3,000 rupees? Have you said whoever is unemployed will give them money?
So let me then ask Prakash Belawadi. No, one second. There is an old saying. One second, sir. One second. I'm Prakash Belawadi. There's an old saying: good economics makes for bad politics, and bad economics makes for good politics. This may be a case of bad economics, but at the end of the day, people have voted. Now, you can say that, the people of Karnataka were gullible, they bought into the promises by the Congress, or the Congress was smart to make these promises in the first place because they were recognizing that people were suffering and therefore people bought into these promises. Fact is that this is how elections are contested and won. That, people weigh the options in front of them, they look at who they think could be better for them, who could actually improve their plight. And when you have a party which says we'll give you free power and free bus rides and stipend to women and to unemployed, that seems like an attractive proposition.
Zaka, I'm not very sure that it's bad economics either, and I'm not sure at all that it was such good politics. Really, because, if you have to make some analysis and say how many more extra votes the Congress got because of these, what everybody is calling freebies were announced. And I can't put a very good number on it. See, I think if you look at how the numbers came, it came from so many different, for so many different reasons, Lingaites and Dalits and, disgruntled Bakkaligas and so on. It may be 1 or 2% more they got. I mean, if the swing is the great politics, so be it. So I'll not dwell on that too much, but let me go to the point that it's not such bad economics. Because if you see how much the government spends on truly expensive, road projects, road widening projects, or building the planned peripheral road in Bangalore, which is now estimated at 21,000 crores, but 2/3 of that will just be land acquisition, some 8-lane or 14-lane or whatever road that will be. And I'm sure that cost will go up because when it was first planned, it was just 3,000 crores, they estimate. Now 21,000 crores. When it's finished, maybe it'll be 50,000 crores. And I'm saying you're using taxpayers' money to do that. If there are buses ferrying people to work and the government subsidizes public transport as it should. By the way, BMTC was the only profit-making, local bus service, public transport service in India till about a decade or 15 years ago. And then things have changed a little bit from then on. The ridership has decreased also. But, you're building those roads, spending these enormous monies because, you have to accommodate the 2.5 million cars and about 8 million two-wheelers that are being used in Bangalore. So in fact, you're using taxpayers' money to subsidize road building for rich people, or people who are better off than very poor people who have to use a bus. So I don't think it's such bad economics, because maybe if you can get people to make a modal shift from using private vehicles and move in these buses, then you don't have to spend such big monies on road building and cut down thousands and thousands of trees. The peripheral ring road will take away some 35,000 trees, I believe. So I'm saying there are lots in the environmental costs and so on. So it may not be bad economics. The question is it very good intention? If you'll just allow me 2 minutes, I'll finish this. The first is, I think it's not so bad to give subsidized public transport. Maybe it should not be free. Maybe they could have made it 10 rupees, 5 rupees, and so on. Maybe the highest ticket should not have been more than 30 rupees inside the city, maybe. But that would have been welcomed by the poor. It need not have been free. The free thing is a little bit vulgar, I think, because people who don't need to use the bus also may use the bus then. See, the second thing is that the 200 units of electricity also, maybe some basic stuff you should provide. I don't think even that I'm going to crib about whether it's you have to pay the whole. If you can actually use more than 200 units, maybe you should pay for it. The thing that bothers me is that 2,000 rupees per month kind of thing. I know that people can get upset that I'm saying this, but very poor people, thousands of people, I'm saying thousands of schools have been shut down. Government-run schools have been shut down because they can't get enough students. And very poor people pay enormous amounts to send their children to, maids and, security lift operators. These people are sending the children to expensive private schools because the government cannot provide very good education, primary education. The second thing is people spend lots of money to go to private doctors, private medical services, because, the government primary health care centers are not trusted as much as they should have been. So maybe this money should have been used for delivering better services. Somebody said very cynically, 2,000 rupees, some money will come back to a lot of money, actually, they said, will come back to the government because people will drink that. And, maybe women will not allow that, but it may lead to trouble at home and so on. I'm very, that is why I'm worried about the intent of government, because if it was a rational plan, will they stop all those crazy road building projects that they have got in their heads?
Okay, so Sanket Yenagi, respond to that. If you can subsidize road building for rich people to use cars and private vehicles, Prakash Belawadi says it's okay to subsidize free travel. Maybe not free, but there should have been a token amount. But I think the larger point he also made is most states, and you take the example of not just here in India, but across the world, the two services that citizens demand the most from most states is A, education, and B, health. And in that regard, there is no promise in these 5 guarantees.
That services are already being guaranteed, though it is not a part of this guarantee. That is a fundamental duty, in fact. That is a duty of the government under Chapter 2 or 3 of the Constitution. So this is a fundamental duty of the government. Right to free education, as says, right to health is a fundamental duty, and it's a fundamental right of the citizen as well. We have already guaranteed. And nothing more required to be again guaranteed is by way of a separate guarantee here, and that we have already ensured and we have been following it. And insofar as other things are concerned,
sir, I just want to bring to your attention that the period after COVID, because there was no physical classes, 13,800 government schools were shut down across Karnataka. 13,800. I think that's the point that
Prakash is making. So let me answer that question as well. So our schemes are being implemented in a phased manner, first of all. And the second aspect is that first our concentration is on the underprivileged and those who have suffered, who should be given benefit on an immediate priority, urgent and necessary, and those who can be dealt at the later stage. So this is how we have categorized the scheme for the implementation purpose.
Okay.
And one way we have to accumulate the wealth in order to see that the project is going on smoothly and it should reach the end person or the end user, and it should not be misused at one end. On the other end, we should also see that other the commitments which we have made under the 4 promises also to be implemented. It is not
Okay,
just the 5
I'm
guarantees.
sorry,
which
I'm really
is-
sorry I'm
we have-
interrupting, but I'm getting a piece of breaking news which I need to go to. I want to thank the guests in the meanwhile for this truncated debate. But this is